For this video, what we're going to work on now is technological efficiency and economic efficiency. So first we have to figure out which methods of production are going to be technologically efficient. To find out if we're technologically efficient, we're trying to figure out, okay, we're using capital, we're using labor. So to be technologically efficient, what we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, if we're adding some labor or adding some capital, either way, are we reducing the amount of the other that we're using? Let's start with the bottom here. So if we have 10 units of capital, we're using 1 unit of labor. Okay? So another option that we would have to produce things, these are different methods that we could use to produce things. We could go to Y and say, okay, I'm going to use less capital, but I'm going to use more labor. That's fine. That's good. If I'm losing some, I can gain some of the other. So if I'm going from Y to X, I'm losing capital. I'm using less capital, but I'm using more labor. That's okay as well. But now on this last one, okay, I'm going from X to W. I'm going here, I'm at 4, and here I'm at 4. So I'm using the same amount of capital. Okay, we're at 4 on either one, but on this one, I'm adding more labor. So I'm using the same amount of capital, but I'm adding more labor. That would be a technologically inefficient production, because why would I ever do production with 4 units of capital and 28 hours of labor when I could do the same thing with 4 units of capital but 16 units of labor? So W is not technologically efficient. Okay, so we would never do production with W. So W is not technologically efficient. Okay, the other type of efficiency that we want to learn about is something called economic efficiency. And economic efficiency, in order to be economically efficient, we have to be technologically efficient. But we could be technologically efficient and not be economically efficient. So economically efficient means we're doing it at the least possible cost. Technology efficient, we're doing it at the least number of units of inputs, but with economically efficient, we are doing it the least possible cost. But what's going to be important here is knowing the price of capital and the price of labor, because depending on relative prices, economic efficiency could change. But let's just say the price of capital is $20. And let's say the price of labor is going to be $5. Okay, so we don't ever have to calculate W here because we know it's not technologically efficient. We can't be economically efficient if we're not technologically efficient. So this one we don't even have to calculate. So what we're going to do is we're going to calculate the cost of production for each one of these production methods. So let's start with X. For X, we're going to take the number of units of capital, we're going to multiply it by the price of capital, then we're going to take the price of labor and multiply it by how many units we need. So we're going to take the number of units of capital, so we have 4. Each unit of capital costs us $20. Okay, and then we're going to add to that the cost of labor. We need 16 units of labor. Each unit costs $5. Okay, so this is 80 and this is 80. So the total cost of the production for unit or for production method X is going to be $160. Okay, we're just taking the number of units of capital times the price of capital plus the number of units of labor needed times the cost of labor. Okay, so let's check it out for method Y. Okay, so Y, we're going to take how many units of capital we need? 8. The price of capital is 20. Okay, we're going to take the number of units of labor that we need, which is now 4. Each unit of labor costs $5. So here we have 160 plus 20. So the cost of production for method Y is going to be $180. Okay, and let's do that for Z. Z, again, we're just going to take the number of units needed for capital, which would be 4. Each unit of capital costs us $20. I'm sorry, that would be 10 here. 10 times 20 plus 1 unit of labor at $5 each. So we have $200 plus 5 is $205. Okay, to find out which one is economically efficient, what we're going to do is we're going to find which one of these is the cheapest. So 160, 180, or 205, the cheapest way to produce, given those prices of capital and labor, would be $160. So X is our economically efficient method of production.